Good evening. Welcome to the post-game press conference for California. A note that ASAP Sports will transcribe this press conference and that Hammond Communications will provide satellite coverage and coordinates. Reminder, too, that only credentialed media may ask questions. Media, please identify yourself and your affiliation. Please use a microphone to ask a question. Microphone stewards on the far left and far right. California Media Relations contact is Doug Drabick. We're joined now by head coach Mike Montgomery and student athletes Alan Crabb, a junior forward, and Richard Solomon, a junior guard, and Richard Solomon, a junior forward. Opening remarks now by head coach Mike Montgomery.
Well, it's unfortunate. Obviously, when you lose your last game, you'd have liked to have played your best basketball. You'd like to really gone out and forced the other team to, have to make plays. I don't think we played our best basketball. A lot of that credit has to go to Syracuse. That zone hurt us. There's no question. We had a difficult time solving the zone. They did a great job of getting to Crabb, for example, and locating him in the thing, and they had us pretty well spread out. We had moments where we were able to attack the middle, where we thought we could attack, i.e. Richard's 22, Thurman's 9 in 18 minutes, but we weren't consistent enough with that. I thought we started the game very, very tentative. I don't really know what we expected of the zone or what we expected of Syracuse, but we didn't have the same confidence level that we had against UNLV. Maybe the fact that we played them was something, but we were really tentative to start the game, and it really wasn't until we came off the bench and we had 2 or 3 of those kids get on the floor after a loose ball and kind of get after it a little bit that we kind of started to feel a little bit better about the game. And then obviously, at the end we actually had some chances there. Had we, made free throw 12 for 19 from the line, that's probably too many misses. They shoot 41 foul shots. That's a lot to overcome. First half we gave up 10 offensive boards. I think that was probably a telling factor. We actually did a decent job defensively, but weren't able to rebound the ball. So credit to Syracuse. Credit to Jim Boeheim. That zone was very effective. It's good. It's tough. I'm sure everybody in the Big East would tell you the same thing. It's just, it's something you got to play with for 40 minutes. They're not changing. They have a lot of confidence in it, and we didn't come out and attack it very intelligently. And obviously, if you go 4 for 21 from 3 against the zone, you're probably going to have some problems.
Questions for the student athletes? Yes, sir.
John Crumpacker, San Francisco Chronicle. Alan, can you describe what made that the Syracuse zone so difficult for you to get the kind of shots that you normally would like to get?
They keyed in on me. Shots that I thought I would probably get weren't there, and they took things away from me. And you just got to give credit to them. And they're long and athletic, so tried to shoot over them a couple of times. They were there, contested it. I was in the air passing the ball, deferring from my shot. So you just got to give them credit. They just, they played really, really well in that zone.
Other questions for the student athletes? Yes, sir.
Josh Dubow from Associated Press. Alan, just the frustration level for you guys when they were going to the foul line repeat, especially early in that second half. It seemed like every time they keep going to the foul line, and just had the frustration level build for you guys for that.
We felt like we had some clean plays on the ball. We can't control what the refs call, so I feel like they let some calls go, and that's that. Can't do nothing about it now. This game's over with.
In the front here.
Yeah, Richard Bruce Jenkins from the Chronicle. The way they took away the outside shot, it seemed like you guys were going to have to do some work inside, and you really did that. But once you got that going, did you feel like you had a chance to pull it out?
My teammates were giving me the ball where I could be effective, and I was just finishing plays. I thought it was stretches where we got going a little bit, but it's a 40-minute game. We got to play like that the whole game, not just stretches.
Time for one more question to the student athletes, if there is one. Yes, sir.
Alan, I know this is probably not the time to ask this question, but have you thought at all about returning for your senior season? And again, apologize for the timing of it, but I'd like to get you on record as saying anything you might feel about that.
No, I don't have any comment for that right now. I mean, it would be pretty selfish of me, you know, to talk about my future after we just lost a game. So, you know, I'm pretty frustrated about the loss. I'm really not thinking about the future right now. So, like I said, I don't have any comment for that.
Mark, one last question.
Yeah, Mark Purdy from the Mercury News in San Jose. Richard or Allen, I mean, you obviously got the scouting report on the zone. You knew what you were going to be facing. What is the difference between getting the scouting report, knowing what you're supposed to do, and then actually having to go on the court and face it?
Richard, you want to take it first?
Well, it's going to be difficult playing against something you never played against before because scout team can't really run it the way that they can run it. You know, they're long athletic, like Alan said, but you just got to give credit to Syracuse and the zone. It frustrated us a little bit.
Alan, anything to add?
I mean, he touched on it. I mean, you know, they play the zone for 40 minutes. We don't really play teams, you know, who are in a zone for 40 minutes. If we play the team that plays zone, they play for a couple of minutes and go back to man, but not a whole 40 minutes. So, I mean, like Richard said, it kind of frustrated us and, you know, played in stretches, not the whole 40. So.
Okay, Alan, Richard, thank you very much. We'll open the floor now for questions to Coach Montgomery. Questions for Coach Montgomery? Yes, sir. We'll go to the back.
Mike, given the way that the Syracuse did play its zone, did you figure that you get most of your points from the inside out instead of the outside in? You look at Solomon and Thurman and what they were able to do.
Yeah, we knew that was where they were vulnerable. We'd watch different teams play it. One of the problems that you have is you have 1 day prep, and I would say that our attention span on Friday was probably not as good as it needed to be. There was a lot of excitement hangover from the win. So you're trying to get them in a 90-minute with some video and 90-minute time on the court to understand what that zone's going to look like, and it's difficult. One of the things, I mean, we were able to take advantage of it, obviously, to the degree that Richard had 22, Thurman had 9 in 18 minutes, and even David had 4. But it required the post guys to catch, face, and make decisions. So you knew where the vulnerability of the zone was. You knew what you thought you could get. But it also meant that you had people that were not used to making those plays having to make those plays. And now we knew that was going to be an issue. You know, we don't have back-to-basket post guys per se. So by trying to throw it to David and Richard and at the high post, they were having to catch, face, make a decision there. And we had some really nice shots off. We had some that actually where we actually got the ball exactly where we wanted it, we got it blocked. I mean, point-blank shots, and their size came in and took those away from us. So that's discouraging. We had 17 turnovers. And, you know, some of those came from just not being experienced in how to ball fake, how to move a zone, how to move hands, how to hit the high post, how to catch and face with footwork. You're not going to get that done in 1 day. And as Alan said, we don't face many teams that play zone the whole way. And if they do, it's not the same kind of zone that was. So it was difficult. We felt like that was where the vulnerabilities were. I just don't think we consistently were able to take advantage of it like we needed to. Had we been able to do that, maybe we would have been able to come outside for some perimeter shots. As it was, they weren't leaving Allen. I mean, whatever zone it was, they knew where Crab was at all times. And he's the one guy that percentage-wise can shoot the ball. You know, Ty, I thought as a freshman had a pretty gutsy performance, you know, coming in, not being afraid to shoot. But still, that's not his strong point. And so we tried Ricky in there a little more than we had played him because he's been a pretty good shooter, but he hadn't practiced at all. So, you know, the zone accomplished what it wanted to. I was very fearful that was going to happen. I knew where the strengths of the zone and what the weaknesses were. I just wasn't sure we had the personnel to in 90 minutes or a day to get done what we needed to get done.
We're running short on time. I've got a few more questions. The gentleman in the white is first.
Mike Waters, Syracuse Post-Standard. Mike, in the first half, there were very few fouls called. Syracuse only goes to the line 5 times. In the second half, they're in the 1-and-1 by the 4-minute timeout. Did you think they changed what they wanted to do in taking it to the basket? And could you talk about the impact that them being able to get to the free throw line had?
Well, we played more man in the second half. I really don't think – I mean, there's probably some calls that, you know, it seemed like kind of got in their mindset that we were going to foul every time, you know, so it kind of one leads to the next, leads to the next. But we fouled them a lot. The difference, of course, being that they were going to the basket and we weren't. They beat us at point of attack. We did not do a very good job with our defensive rotations, and of course they play above the rim a lot, so when they go up, they're playing up above the rim. We should have rotated. We should have taken some charges. We should have V'd back on the backside. We've not been a team that's been very good at taking charges. We don't have a lot of guys that are willing to give up their bodies, and as a result of that, we're always trying to get up and block shots, but the problem is they jump a little higher than we do on the run, and so we're on their arms. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously in their minds it's probably a little bit discouraging. We need to do a better job of defending. I mean, it's pure and simple.
Guys, we've got a queue, but I can only take one more question. Jeff.
Mike, he didn't play a perfect game, but Solomon gave you a nice effort. Can you talk about his development and what he gave you tonight?
Well, I think he took advantage of what was available. You know, I don't know that particular thing had much to do with his development. I think it had to do with the fact that we were able to get the ball down. He was fairly aggressive inside. He's got to continue to do that for us. He's long. He plays above the rim. 14 rebounds is the area that I think that he should be looking at mostly. So, you know, we had to attack there. It was an opportunity for the bigs to have big games. That's really where we had to attack. Had we been cleaner at getting the ball in the middle and dropping it down to the post, we'd have had more people, you know, score points, and Richard would have had a bigger night. But Richard was one guy that seemed to be able to make plays. We didn't have a lot of people that were playing above their ability. We didn't have a whole bunch of people that rose to the occasion that, you know, that this was a big game and I'm going to play better than I have. So that you're not going to win games like that unless you have some people be able to do that.
Coach, thank you.
You're
Mike
welcome.
Montgomery, head coach, California.